What's going on, you guys? It's Brandon from BlazeTech here, and in today's video we're going to be going over the issue with Adobe Premiere, and the more specific thing about Adobe Premiere is the audio issue, where if you're using such recording software as like shadowplay, which is what I'm currently using for my gameplay stuff, but if you pretty much drag the shadowplay file into Adobe Premiere, and in Adobe Premiere you play the video and the sound is out of sync with the voice. So there's a workaround to that. There's two workarounds. One workaround might work for you or might not. The second workaround should work for you if the first workaround does not work for you. So in case you don't know what I mean, I'm going to show you an example of the problem, and then I'm going to show you the solution to that problem if you are facing that problem. So with that said, we'll jump into the computer and I'll show you what I mean. So for example, this is Cyberpunk, right? And I picked a specific spot because it's got gun shooting, right? So you'd be able to definitely differentiate the the action of shooting, pew pew, to the actual sound of a gun, like pew pew, and you'll be able to tell there's a big difference. And then I'll show you in the raw footage of the actual file that's perfectly fine, and a couple of workarounds. So if we play the video, see, as you can see, that's heavily delayed, so we'll just repeat that once more just to show you guys if I can find that spot. As you can see, it just doesn't work. So this specific one is Cyberpunk 2156-2603. So if we go to my recording files and we go to shadowplay Cyberpunk, this ends in 03, so it'd be this one. So if we find the exact same spot where we just saw in Adobe Premiere, it'll work perfectly fine on the raw footage, because for some reason Adobe Premiere has an issue with unbalanced frame caps, which is what Cyberpunk is, because it's a relatively not so greatly optimized game, so you got variable frame rates going everywhere, and Adobe doesn't like that. It prefers a constant frame rate. So if we find where we were before, for whatever reason I can't find it, but I'll just find the part where we are shooting. So on this part of the raw footage, you can see that everything works perfectly. Grenades go off on time. People see you on time. The quick acts work on time, as well as the cameras.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jackie Wells.
Everything works on time pretty much. You get the point of that. But as you can see in the Adobe footage, it doesn't work correctly. Now there's a couple of workarounds you can do. What you can do is you can download QuickTime. So if you come to Google Chrome, I'll just open up a anonymous window for this example, type in QuickTime, and you can just download this. Actually, I'm not 100% sure if you need QuickTime. I saw a YouTube video saying that you may need QuickTime, but I can't really confirm it. I don't see a difference. But anyway, once you downloaded and installed QuickTime, find the particular file that you want. So we'll just use the 03 one of Cyberpunk, and what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to copy it, right? And then you're going to want to paste it. So I have an old one that I tried, but unfortunately it didn't work for me. However, it has worked for some other people, so you may want to try it. So once you have copied that particular file, it will look exactly like this. So it'll be just the same name, and then it'll just be like -copy.mp4. So what you want to do is you want to right click it, say rename, and use the arrow keys on your keyboard to just delete MP4 and change it to MOV. And yes, you want to make changes. So then within within Adobe Premiere, you're just going to want to simply drag and drop it into Adobe Premiere. We'll delete this because we're not using it right now. So just drag and drop it in, importing files, and this is the file. Now for some people this may work. Now for you it might be building your peaks, so your audio and all that, so just let that run and do its thing. But I know this doesn't work for me specifically because I've tried it and it just doesn't work. We'll try and find a shooting scene, and I'll just show you that it's off sync. If it is on sync, I'm not going to be mad, but I'm just going to be like, well, okay, sure, you didn't work before. But here's a shooting scene, we'll play it and show you that it just doesn't want to work. As you can see, things are terribly off sync. For some of you, like I said, it may work, but for me, it didn't work. So what I did was I went to Chrome and I got a software called Handbrake. So once you've clicked on this, when you say download, you install it. I'm sure you guys know how to install, it's not that difficult. Then you're going to want to open Handbrake. No, for some reason it's saying I have unfinished items. So whichever file you are trying to put into your Handbrake, this is what you're going to want to do. So what's one I've already done? I've already done this one. So what you're going to want to do is drag whatever file that you need, drag, drop, just simple as that, and now leave everything at default. And you might want to change where you like download the folder. So for me, I always got a specific hard drive I put all my recordings to. So for my example, I just go in my recordings hard drive, make a folder called Handbrake, and these other ones I've converted. But before you do that, what you're going to make sure you want to do is you're going to want to match the Handbrake options with the recording options. So what you're going to want to do with the recording options is you're going to want to right click it, go to properties, and you want to go to details. So the main important things you want to take away from this is the width and the height. So this is 1920 by 1080 and it's at 59.68 FPS. Audio is 312 kilobytes, but it doesn't really matter. So what you're going to want to do with that information, you're going to want to come back to Handbrake and you're going to want to change this to, unfortunately, we don't have it. So we're going to make custom settings. So what you're going to want to do is going to want to make sure this is on 1920 by 1080, leave everything else at default, filters, default, video. Depending on your CPU and stuff, I have a good CPU, however it's a little bit slow now. I drag the quality all the way to placebo quality, which is a lossless. So your file won't look any better or worse, it'll just be compressed. It does take a long time, it takes me like 3 hours to do it. So that's with backdraw. Or if you don't want to do that, you can always tinker with it. But for me, in my personal opinion, I just drag it to lossless. It takes a long time, but I don't mind. So you want to keep this on H.264, and you're going to want to match the file settings. That was the FPS, so mine was 59.94, and change it from peak frame rate to constant frame rate. Then what you're going to want to do is keep everything else at default. So then after you've done all that and you picked where you want your file to be located and dropped off at, you're going to start to say encode. So it looks like this, and once it's done, it'll just go back to normal. So I'm not going to continue that, but I am going to show you what I did to fix this solution. So if we go back to my recording file, go to Handbrake, then I believe it's this specific one. It is not. Okay, so it's this one. So we'll go to a shooting scene again. As you can see, quality has dropped a little bit, but it's not so bad. However, what you're going to want to do once you've done your file, just want to drag and drop it into Adobe Premiere. So I've already got mine in Adobe Premiere. So if we find it, which is this one here. Now we're going to want to find a shooting scene again. Alright, so we found our shooting scene. And this is the exact same file. And as you can see, stuff is perfectly in sync. The reason this happened to me with Cyberpunk is because Cyberpunk is very unstable, right? It's extremely unstable. So the FPS are constantly going up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Unlike an optimized game, what's a good optimized game? Let's say, for example, Doom Eternal is a well optimized game. I can constantly get that to 60 FPS on my particular system, so therefore when shadowplay is recording it, it's at a constant frame rate of 60, or if you're even playing at 30, that's totally fine. So then once you put that file, because it's a consistent frame rate, it's going to go into Adobe Premiere and work just fine because it's a consistent frame rate. So depending on what your specs are and depending on what the game is, and if you are getting a consistent frame rate, it'll work totally fine. However, if you're not getting a consistent frame rate, Adobe is most likely gonna make things unsync, and you can either do the first method, which is you want to copy and paste the file, then change it from MP4 to MOV, or you're gonna want to download Handbrake. And me, I keep everything at default, change the quality to lossless, takes a long time to process, but it's totally fine for me. Then once with the new Handbrake file of that old file, you're gonna want to put that back into Adobe Premiere to replace your old file. Then it should be 100% a-okay. Like I just showed, it works perfectly fine for me. But cool, thank you. Other than that, I will head out. If you got any questions or whatsoever about this issue, or if you have this issue and it helps out, it'd be nice to know. It'd be cool if that helped you out. But other than that, this is Brandon from BlazeTech. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel, as well as check out my socials. I have Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. Links on screen as well as below. But other than that, make sure to check out my other videos. Bye.